So this past Sunday's game against the Green Bay Packers was a lot. And we got a lot to talk about. And about 50% of that doesn't even relate to the game itself. You're watching Steel Nation.
Here we go, Steelers, here we go. Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Steel Nation. I'm your host, Brian. And if you're new here, like some of you guys are, welcome to the Steel Nation. It is so nice to have you guys. I want to talk about why you guys are here and how you guys got here in a little bit. But first, I want to say what a crazy game this past Sunday was. And it was a good game, too. Like, sure, we looked sloppy. Both teams did. But it was a fun game to watch, and especially in the first quarter. You know, the quarter that I accidentally missed the streaming of because I was out with my family at lunch. So I ended up starting the stream like halfway through the second quarter when most of the action had stopped. But it was still a very fun game, and I am so glad that we are getting these more fun games going forward. So we're going to break this episode down just a little bit. Before we get into talking about the game, I want to talk about something that happened during the live stream that a lot of you know about, but some of you guys who have been here before Sunday's stream might not realize, which is I got raided by Tom Grossi and Urinating Tree. I do got to remember to mention him because he was in the stream too. He's a fellow Steelers fan who does videos on TikTok. I'm going to put his link down in the description next to Brandon Perna's and Tom Grossi's YouTube channels because holy crap. So a little bit of backstory. Tom Grossi, big YouTuber, big Packers fan. He does a thing during all of his live streams of the games, especially primetime and Packers games, where he goes to a smaller streamer who has like single-digit views, and he raids them, which is basically sending a lot of his viewers over to that channel to like send love. His motto is chaotic good. And he chose me to raid on Sunday. And so I'm just hanging out. We're going through our halftime things, you know, where we talk about the scores across the league and other stuff. And as like I hear my mom open the door behind me, which she tends to do, and then as soon as that happens, I get 200 people in my chat instantly, and things just exploded. If you want to check that out, the stream is archived. You can go find it, and I might have my editor put a clip of that part of the stream in right here, because the Viking Saints have a total of 27. Yo, hold on. Okay, come. No, we got a Grossi raid. Let's go. And now there's a chicken in the house. Let's go! Mom, look at this! But if you weren't there, that's A-okay. But it was incredible. Within that short amount of time, we jumped from 9 subscribers to 60 subscribers, and now, at the time of recording this, we're at 72. So to all of you guys who are new to the channel, welcome. I am so happy to have you guys here. It is such an honor that you guys decided to stick around after the raid instead of going back to Tom and Urinating Trees streams, and you just hung out. And I got to talk to people in the live stream for the first time, and it was so awesome. I just want to say thank you to them. Thank you to you guys. It looks like Buffalo got another field goal. I'm watching the Buffalo-Denver game right now. But so that was awesome. Before the Steelers-Packers game, the Pittsburgh Steelers won. It was a tense game. And we won, I think it was 20-19. Not 2019. It would have been 23-19 because they needed more than a field goal to beat us. But let me just make sure 100% that is correct. It's not showing. Yeah, 23-19 was correct. And once again, the streak is not broken. We still have a winning record and have yet to outscore an opponent. I mean, we had 324 yards of total offense in this game. That's split up between 205 rushing yards and 119 passing yards. The Packers had 399, and that was split up between 116 yards on the running game and 283 passing yards. So we are winning games still with a losing record. This has never happened, and at this rate, this kind of bull we're going to be pulling this all the way to the Super Bowl because the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. The Steelers go to the Super Bowl. And we're just going to BS our way all the way there. So jump on the train. All of you guys who are new here, this is how we do things. In terms of how we played, I thought we played really well. The offense looked better than they have looked. However, Deontay Johnson and George Pickens, they didn't really do much. There were a couple dropped passes, there were a couple caught passes, but most of our offense was on the ground. Both of our touchdowns were rushing touchdowns. One from Najee Harris and one from Jaylen Warren. He finally got to run himself in a touchdown. Now, he's probably, done rushing touchdowns in the past, but it was really nice to see. Like, back-to-back drives, we got touchdowns, which is another thing. First drive of the game, Steelers all the way down, scoring a touchdown. The Packers then followed up with their own touchdown on their for opening drive. Then the Steelers got a touchdown. Then the Packers didn't get a touchdown. Then the Steelers kicked 3. I think that's how this is going. Then the Packers got their touchdown. Then the Steelers punted, and the Packers punted, and the Steelers punted, the Packers. Basically that. Everything that happened in the first quarter, first half, and then it really slowed down up to the end. However, end of the game is what I want to talk about right now. Because the Packers, they're making their charge down the field. They're in field goal range, but they are 4 points behind. No field goal was going to tie the game and send it into overtime. They had to go for it. So, Jordan Love takes the ball. He drops back. He throws to the end zone. It looks like it's going to be caught, and then out of nowhere, it's intercepted, and the Steelers clench the game. And then clench their fists because there's a massive fight that happens at the end of the play. Flags are flying everywhere. Both teams are just like clashing like armies into each other. It was hilarious. And if you were on the stream, you'll realize how much energy this game had because, well, for one, my team won, and it was a great game to watch. And for two, it just shows me that there's at least some life in this Steelers team. Now, I understand this was a BS game. Like, there's no reason that we should have won this game, but we did. And I'm happy that we did, but holy crap, it was rough. It's like anytime the teams come into Pittsburgh, they just lose any sense of what they're doing. I mean, aside from the 49ers, who, we don't talk about the 49ers game, but the Patriots come in and we just wallop them. And it was a fun game all around. The Packers, did I see the Patriots? I think I said the Patriots. I meant the Packers. The Packers played well. The Steelers played well. I don't think there were too many unnecessary penalties on either side, which was nice. And looking at the stats here, let's just compare some stats real quick. And this is a stat that I really wanted to fixate on the most right now. Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris. Warren had one less run at 15 carries than Najee had at 16. Najee Harris had 82 total yards on 16 attempts. That's pretty good. It's actually really good. Jaylen Warren had 101 yards. I think that might be this team's first 100-yard game in the run game this whole season. Now, I may be wrong, and please let me know in the comments if I am, but I think that that's the case. And if that is the case, then that means Jaylen Warren got the 100 yards, the first 100 yards in a game of this team during this season, which is incredible. And it just goes to show, for me at least, that Jaylen Warren probably should be our starter. Now, I've changed my tune on Najee, and I've really thought about it. And the idea of having two really good running backs is a good idea, I believe, because then they're only taking half of the snaps each, and they're not getting tired as easily. The issue arises when you start one more than the other, and the other is clearly better. But no matter the case, it was good. Our run game was incredible. That's how we did most of what we did today. Receiving, where things get worrisome. George Pickens, with 4 targets, had 3 receptions today, which is good. That is 75% of targets ended in catches, which is good. However, only had 45 yards. Not bad for the number of receptions he had, but it's bad for the number of targets. Because, like, literally, the top 5 people all had 4 targets. Him and Connor Hayward also had 3 receptions. Connor Hayward got 32 yards. Deontay Johnson had 4 receptions with 1 completion. Made 1 catch, and he got 17 yards. So not a bad catch, but we need more. We need more from him in the passing game. Najee Harris with 4 receptions with 4 attempts had 3 receptions. He only got 14 yards. Jaylen Warren 4 attempts, 2 receptions with 9. Darnell Washington got another catch today for 6 yards, and then Calvin Austin III with 1 target, 1 reception, got 3. So the passing game wasn't great, but it wasn't as terrible as it was, and George Pickens was actually getting the ball a little bit more frequently, and he made some decent plays out of it. His longest, of course, being 28 yards. And then we go to Kenny Pickett, and I want to compare him to Jordan Love right now. Kenny Pickett threw the ball about half as often as Jordan Love did. Kenny Pickett with 23 attempts, Jordan Love with 40 attempts. Kenny Pickett made 14 of those attempts. So, fairly good. And he got no touchdowns for it, because as I said, both of our touchdowns were on the ground. One by Jaylen Warren, and one by Najee Harris. Jordan Love had 21 completions out of 40 attempts. So that's roughly half. So Kenny Pickett was more than half. Jordan Love was less than half, which is what happens when you're dealing with smaller attempts. Usually you'll have, if you're a decent enough quarterback, you'll have more completions than half with fewer attempts than you do if you have more attempts, because that's just more chances to fail. But out of that, Jordan Love threw for 2 touchdowns. So, in all factuality, we were better in the run game, and they were better in the passing game, which was to be expected. The Steelers do seem like a run-first team. The only issue, really, is in the NFL today, you have to be a pass-first offense, or you're not going to get anywhere. Now, how the Steelers are doing it, I don't know. Maybe it's our defense. Maybe Tomlin made a deal with God or something just to say, like, if you just keep me with this winning record, I don't know, I'll sell my firstborn child. That's not how God works, but Tomlin's done something. I don't know what's going on, but Mike Tomlin is going to get his 17th consecutive winning record, and at this rate, we might even make the playoffs. And I want to touch on that for a second. We're 2 games away from having a winning record. That is insane. If we win the next 2 games, then no matter how we do the rest of the season, we will not possibly have a losing record. It's so strange to think about. But if we win 3 games, we will have a winning record. 2 games, we'll have a tied record. That's fine. We win just 3 games. We have to win just 3 more games to have a winning record. And our schedule is going to allow for more. Like, in fact, I'm going to do this more in a future video, but I want to go over the next couple games we have just to see how easy they are. So let's cut to that. All right, so looking at the upcoming schedule, this coming week we are going to be in Cleveland facing off against the Browns. Now, when we played them earlier on in the season, it was a really tough game, and we squeaked out of that with a win, and I think we can do it again. Now, obviously, I'm going to be biased towards the Steelers. It's going to be a rough game. I mean, watching the game against them versus the Ravens, you can definitely tell the Browns are going to be a very, very formidable team, but I think, if not just because of the complete lack of any sense that this season is making, we have a chance to sweep the Browns. And that's insane. That's stupid. But it's a thing that can happen. We then follow that up with our first game against the Bengals, this being in Cincinnati. And this game I am less thrilled about. This is going to be on my birthday, on November 26th. And so all day I'm going to be praying, God, let us beat the Bengals on my birthday. I want, that would be the best birthday present ever, is for us to beat the Bengals on my birthday. But I don't know. It's going to be a tough opponent. As I said, though, I'm going to be praying about it. Then after that, we have the Cardinals. And now, I said at the beginning of the season that the Texans game was an easy win. And, well, we got mollywomped by them. It was not pretty. We were Ron and Harry in the Whomping Willow in the Chamber of Secrets, in the flying car. That was us against the Texans. The Texans, of course, being the Whomping Willow.
My wand. Look at my wand. Be thankful it's not your neck. I don't know.
They beat the crap out of us in that game, and that was not fun. And so normally I would say, oh, we're going to be good against the Cardinals. But I don't know. It's every Sunday, man. Every other Sunday. Doesn't matter. We could beat the Bengals and then instantly go lose to the Cardinals. So, who knows at this rate? Then, on Thursday Night Football, we play the Patriots. And now, this is going to be a fun game because Mac Jones probably ain't going to be with the Patriots very long. But again, I'm going to reserve my judgments until the video that I make later on in the week where I talk about the playoff picture for the Steelers and what teams I think can get in to the playoffs right now. So make sure you're sticking around for that. And I also plan on making another video either this week or next week talking about my favorite and least favorite teams from each division in the NFL and how I would rank each of those teams on a scale. So, for example, my favorite and least favorite AFC North team, obviously my favorite is the Steelers, and my least favorite is the Browns. And then let's say we jump to the NFC North. My favorite being the Minnesota Vikings, and my least favorite being the Green Bay Packers. And then I would put them on a list and be like, I like the Steelers more than I like the Vikings, and I hate the Browns more than I hate the Packers. So basically you'll get my top 8 favorite teams and my bottom 8 favorite teams. And then maybe I'll fill in the rest of that at another time. I don't know. But those are what you can expect in the future. More on this game, though. There's really not much more I can say other than it was really good. Kenny Pickett looked much more comfortable. The play calling was better, actually. And I think with having Matt Canada on the field is really improving his play calling. Now, I am still going to shout fire Matt Canada from the rooftops, but at this rate, I think we can wait until after the season before we fire him, unless he goes back up into the booth. Because if he goes back up into the booth and we start sucking even more, then I'm going to say fire Matt Canada before the playoffs even become a glimpse in our mind. After this week, though, I'm going to have to look into it after the game tonight, and I'll see whether or not the playoff picture is set up in my research for later this week. I'll talk about where the entire AFC North places, what team that I hope is out of the playoffs the most. It's the Browns. And just go over my thoughts, I guess, on the playoffs and how I expect things to go, taking out the factor of the Steelers being a team that you cannot predict, as well as talking about it with that factor in play. But with that all being said, that's all I got for you today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure you hit that like button. It really does good things for this channel. And subscribe if you're new. Join the army of the Steel Nation. I gotta come up with a name for all of you guys now, because there's more of you, and that's awesome. Maybe this coming stream we can make it to 100 subscribers, and I know for most people that is low bars, but for me, I only have one channel that's above 100, and that's my main channel, which I post Five Nights at Freddy's theories, Minecraft videos, just that kind of stuff. I don't know where to go from here. Tracy, you should put some of this awkward pausing in the final edit. I think by looking over at the computer and then just sitting here just completely unable to say anything, I think would be funny. And then just cutting to me being absolutely energetic. I think that'd be really funny. But this channel making it to 100 subscribers would be awesome. It'd be a milestone. And eventually, you know, maybe we can make it to a point where we got hundreds of people in the streams every week. But hey, baby steps. Baby steps. I say all that to say, thank you guys for watching. Take care. And as always, go Steelers.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl.